True Glow TFX Pros. Got them on my Walther P99 40. Has the orange front side. They were a bitch. Okay, so now I've done my P99 40 and I feel like I've got these pretty down now. Let's see if I can go right to and attack this PPQ M2. What I did do this time, opposed to last time, I'm going to check my clearance. So before I even crank this thing down, I'm going to bring it across and see where I'm at, because you want this pushing as low as you possibly can, so you stay nice and even, I should say. And I'm seeing about a 1/8 inch gap, so I'm actually going to crank this thing up. So go back to center on this Vism vise here. I go back to center, and I'm actually going to raise this pedestal up to right there. Let's see how that does. It is crucial to get a good, and see this top one here, you just clamp her straight down, and that will keep you pretty much centered because of the flat top of the slide on the PPQ. So that's not, everything's flat. Okay, now I am down to where that is perfect. Actually, I'm seeing where it'll ride across the slide. I could lay a little straight line there to see. It's kind of a thick blade. That's clearing. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to see how this is off to one side. I'm actually going to center this in the center here, and I'll do that real quick. Okay, now I've got this pretty centered. So I'm going to do a nice even push, and I am right down on the top of that flat part of that slide there. This flat part here. Okay, and I am using, with this Vism, I'm using the angled little jigs in there, right there, in between. They slide in. See that serration right there? They slide in. I think Glock, you're going to need a flat one or whatever. I won't be using that one. You also, on this TFX Pros, you want to make sure that it's not going to hit your down stop. I may have to come back this way a little bit to make sure it doesn't hit. So I'll check that real quick. Okay, like I said, I'm getting this thing pretty dialed. I went in from the plunger side, and it seemed to fit better. I don't know if I'm being a dumbass and I should have done that initially, but it did not go on the other side, on the left side. But on the right side with the plunger, I was able to start it flush. And what I did do is, if you notice here, I am all the way down, just barely touching it, because this is going from right to left, so I'm not going to have to worry about scraping across there. But on the other hand, this tooth here, I want as low and centered pushing on this as possible. Last time I did this, I put a Ruger flag between the gap right there, between the Vism, where it says the gap between the Vism and the sights, so it wouldn't rise, because it's going to want to rise. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a little shim in there. So Ruger flag worked perfect for the P99, so let's see how this is going to work for this. I'm basically putting it in this gap here, just so I don't get any rise out of it. Okay, and I'm going to continue to push this way as even as possible and as slow and as holy as I can, so I don't mess this up. But here we go. I've got this all cranked down equally. I did raise this because I'm going that way, and I want to hit it low. Like I said, I'm past my slide there, so down pressure nice and even. Right pressure, you know, you want to keep it all even so you don't mess something up. Okay, let's go back this way. And here we go. Starting to push again. I see a bit of an angle and I see some shavings, but it's going. Almost there. How does that look? Another crank. Right. There. I'm calling that good. Pray to God I just didn't run my gun as far as my slide. It's always, you know, iffy when you're putting that kind of pressure on stuff. I really don't like doing that, but I like the night sights and the easy target acquisition. Very clean, very nice. So it worked very good. Did the deed. I will crank down this. Not too much, they tell you, 8 pounds, I believe they said. Okay, for the Allen screw up top, little safety Allen, whatever. They say 8 pounds, but as hard as this was to get on and to even budge, I would say that just a good torque. I would worry about this Allen falling out before these sights move in. Gotta love Walthers, man. To me, you can't beat them. So there we be. Well, here's my little lineup of my TFX Pros I have installed on my personal guns here. I started with my LC9S, and it was really hard to get this rear sight off, the factory rear sight on this LC9S. This is the engraved model. Really loving this thing. Very sweet. Really improved the accuracy of this pistol. Then I went ahead and put one on my Walther P99 40 AS, anti-stress trigger. And kind of a bitch, and I did a video on each one of these. I did a video on this about a year ago. I did one a few months ago on this one, and it was kind of a bitch to do it. I will say now that I've done, this is going to be my third one on my PPQ M2, and they were not bad. And I went about them a little bit differently, obviously a little bit smarter, because I've done this my third time's the charm, right? And what I did on this one, I went from left to right and had to squeeze them over my plunger at the end. And this one actually has a decocker as well, the P99 AS Walther. This one wasn't as bad, but what I did do is when I first picked up the rear sight, I looked on the grooves on the, it'd be the opposite side, so the left side to the left side coming in from left to right. It did not fit well, and I didn't want to do too much sanding on it. So what I did is I came in from the other side, and I came in from let's see, right to left. Sorry, I was going to try to put that up on a hanger. I came in from right to left, pushing the plunger down first, and it worked way easier. You do have to pre-tap them and get them started as evenly as possible, as square as possible to the notch, to the grooves and all. But once you tap that a little bit, you're good to go. These sights are awesome. Went to the range today with this PPQ M2, and dead nut. I'm loving it. I'm going to get it tighter. This is my first range trip, so now I am looking basically at the same sights on every gun. They're all going to have a little bit slightly different hold. This one I do have to dot the I, whatever, come up a little bit. The pie. This one is total flush all the way across, dead nut, and same with this one. This, I'm extremely accurate with this, and I'm very surprised. But if you've got one of these LC9S, I have the LCP too as well. But the LC9S, what's lacking, I believe, on this gun, the only thing is the factory sights. They're a little small. For me, I'm 56, and my eyes are going. And these, what it did do to this, though, is it made it less of a concealed carry, because these are huge sights. Okay, and you got to go Krydex or a more slippery holster, because it will hang up on your leather and whatnot, nylon or whatever you end up going with. But total upgrade. My LCP 380, LCP2 380, that is all factory, and I'm keeping it low profile and as little and light as possible. I've got a clip draw on it. I've also got a clip draw on this, but just total lightweight and easy draw. So there's my little lineup, and I'm highly recommending these TFX True Glow TFX Pros. Make sure if you do get them on eBay, which I did for $110 on every one of these, but make sure that you're getting the orange the orange circle around the dot, the center dot. Because a lot of times you read and you see the picture and if they're showing orange, but they're selling the white circle. And it depends on whatever your preference, but just a heads up on that, because they'll get you. And then you got to send them back and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, good stuff. Walther PPQ M2, 15 yards. I got my TFX Pros, day one. Top target here, and 6 these little 3-inch basters. So not too bad. Hope you enjoyed.